Hello and welcome. I'm Daniel.
I'm Andrew. We're brothers, and this is the Daniel and Andrew Show.
Where we give our opinions about movies and TV and movies about wastelands and TV about people with powers. So, Andrew, how you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing all right. Been busy times recently. Lots of stuff happening. Big weekend for movies. Well, this time it was a bad weekend for movies, but traditionally a big weekend for movies, which is Memorial Day, usually the start of the summer for movies. It's been a crazy one. I moved and did a lot of stuff and worked and yeah, so lots of stuff happening. Did you do anything fun recently?
Um, no, not really. I've seen a few things. On Netflix. I don't even know if you know about the movies I'm talking about, but um, there was a movie called Mother of the Bride.
Yes, with Brooke Shields.
Yeah,
Looks bad.
yeah, it was pretty mid. Yeah, watched that whole thing. Um, yeah, it was like kind of
And you loved
cringe.
it.
Plus, like, nah, no, it's just
I
not a
remember
lot.
seeing like a clip from it with Miranda Cosgrove and the guy that she's marrying, and I was like, this guy's kind of ugly. I know he's supposed to be like handsome, like rich guy or whatever, but he's kind of ugly looking. That guy.
Um, I don't know. I don't know. I didn't get that feeling. So, um, yeah. And then I watched the Anyone But You, which I'm sure you've heard of. That one was like the bigger one.
Oh yeah. Um, what'd you think? I never saw it.
I thought that one was pretty funny, actually. That one, that was. I mean, it still had cringe in it, but it actually made me laugh. Where the other one was like, when is this over? Sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, so anyone but you. I when that movie was out and we had it for so long, I went in and sat in and watched it for a few minutes for some reason, and I was like, "Oh, this is Much Ado About Nothing. This is Shakespeare. Her name is B, which is short for Beatrice, and his name is whatever it is. Oh my God, what's the guy's name? What's the guy's name in that movie? Obviously, it's Glenn Powell, but um,
I don't remember his
what
name.
the what the heck is his name? Now it's gonna bother me, so I'm gonna have to look that up. But yeah, it is literally Much Ado About Nothing, where like they go like, "Hey, this person likes you," like the two friend, like the family or friends. Yeah, it's Beatrice and Benedict, but they go by Ben and B in this movie.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, it's Much Ado About Nothing. Like the friends say, like, "Hey, they like you or whatever," and then they're like, "Do they like me?" And then then they like, whatever. It's a romantic comedy. We know how it goes.
Yeah,
So it's just like an updated version of that. Good old Shakespeare there. So I was like, "Oh, I know the story. I don't need to see this."
I
It's like,
guess. I thought it was funny.
yeah, I'm sure it was obviously its own thing, right? It was
Hmm.
an adaptation, an update type thing, and it's not the same, obviously. But tale as old as time there.
Hmm.
But I mean, I know that people liked it. It did pretty well for a movie of that.
Hmm.
I don't think they made it that much. I don't think either of those two are like really expensive
I would certainly
people.
hope not. Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably why. he's in like Twisters and stuff. Because I mean, Glenn Powell has been on quite a little growth period here. He's Top Gun and that. He's in that movie Hitman, which I saw that with Dad. They put it out limited, and it'll be on Netflix next week, I believe.
Yeah,
And
probably give that a watch.
it was interesting. That one was interesting. I mean, it had me, and then it didn't have me, and that's all I'll say because I know that a lot of people haven't seen it. But the ending is interesting. I'll say that. I'd probably give that movie like a 7. Um, if they had done something a little different, that easily could have been one of the best movies of the year. But it's definitely in the middle of the pack for the ending um, for the year. But and Dad did not like it, so
Okay.
we'll see. I mean, I'd be curious to see what you'd think. But it was fun. He does like disguises and stuff, and that was funny. And
Yeah, I remember the
yeah,
trailer, so I do know what you're talking about.
yeah, it's an interesting one. It's an interesting watch for sure. Definitely, some people probably would probably love it, and other people would probably be like, nah, not that doesn't work for me, dog.
Hmm.
So um, yeah, but yeah, Hitman. And then I finished Only Murders in the Building, the third season. Finally, I watched the rest of it. It was interesting. I mean, the season was revolving around a play that they're doing. So I mean, everyone does a good job. Meryl Streep was good. I think the only one that I really wasn't down for was Paul Rudd because Paul Rudd was like not really usually playing his normal Paul Rudd character. He's kind of playing a dick. So I didn't really like love that much. Um, so yeah,
Yeah,
did you watch anything?
I've seen like the first two episodes of it, so I know
Yeah,
what it's about.
I
Yeah.
mean, that was one of those shows where it's one of those shows where I like the show and I'll binge the show and then I'll be like, did I like the show that much? I don't know. I just kind of went through it, but I like mystery, so I think I just want to like find out what happens next. I don't think I would like watching it episodically because I'd be like, ugh, I gotta wait.
Yeah.
I like that I have the whole thing and then I can go at it at the pace that I want to go. Um, but I mean, that show does a good job of making threads and then connecting the threads at the end. What a good mystery is supposed to do, right?
Yeah. That-
And season 4 has some interesting new cast members that they're bringing on,
oh yeah.
um, including bringing back some people from the previous seasons, like Jane Lynch and Meryl Streep's coming back, and they're adding new people like Zach Galifianakis and some other funny people. There were some other character actors that seemed like a good fit for that show. Um, but yeah, like there was like Matthew Broderick was a guest star on the third season, which I thought was fun. So, I mean, that's a good show. I enjoy the show. Um, the this next season will be the fourth season that comes out in August. I think it comes out on your birthday, actually.
Mm.
Um, the last season came out on my birthday.
The
Kind of
only thing
interesting.
that holds that show back for me is Selena Gomez just can't act, man. She just really can't.
Well, I think it's funny that she has to have a romantic interest every time, and then she's like James Bond. Like every time they have a new
Hmm.
uh, a new romantic interest, um, which I think is funny. And like they never talk about
The
the other
previous person,
people.
yeah,
Like the guy from the first season who was like really pertinent in her character and her life and stuff. He's just not there,
yeah,
like at all,
yeah,
uh, which is weird because you'd think he would be at least around at some point. I mean, he lived there; it wasn't even like he moved or something.
yeah. I
Um,
don't know, man. That's
yeah,
what hurts me from watching the show. I haven't seen anything else other than our two topics. So
Yeah. Oh, yeah. New cast members: Eva Longoria, Eugene Levy, Kumail Nanjiani, and Zach Galifianakis. Those are the new cast members. So some funny people, and then Eva Longoria. So that's cool. Um, all right, let's talk about some news here. Okay, so did we talk about Donnie Yen? They're doing a spin-off movie for Donnie Yen's character of John Wick's in John Wick. We talked about that.
I don't know if we've talked about it, but I don't know if there's new details about it or whatnot.
No, not really. Just
Just that it
that they're making it.
exists. Okay.
What you think about that?
I mean, I thought he was a good character, but
Yeah,
I mean, I think we all agree he didn't need to be blind in that movie, yet he is. But
that's true.
I mean, other
That's
than
true.
that, I mean, I'm always down for more John Wick. So
Yeah, or John Wick adjacent.
yeah, even the Continental. I mean, it wasn't like the best in the series or something, but it was
Yeah,
still entertaining.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Hmm. Okay,
Yeah.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
I think
I mean, I
that's
like.
kind of what those movies are for, is just to entertain you.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, yeah, I think they were going the right direction with the fourth one. So for me, anyway, they actually had like a plot.
Yeah.
It wasn't just action scene, action scene, action scene. But I mean, there was a lot of action in it. But it's just more compelling. Um, okay, let's talk about what's it called? Smashing Machine. The Rock looking interesting. The Rock's trying to do his actor, trying to do it more of an acting phase here instead of just doing the same movies over and over again.
Instead of just being The Rock on screen.
Yeah, exactly. He's this movie's called The Smashing Machine. He's playing an MMA fighter, Kerr. I think, yeah, Mark Kerr. Uh, Benny Safdie is directing it. One half of the Safdie brothers, who did like Uncut Gems and stuff like that. Um, he's the one that's also like an actor. He was in Oppenheimer. I think he was like German or something, and he was helping on the project and like this like prosthetic nose and stuff.
Sure.
He was like the one that was like kind of opposing Oppenheimer in
Um,
the development, but then he kind of like backed him up at the end or whatever. He's like he's a great scientist or whatever, that guy. That he's the one directing it. Um, what do you think about this image of him?
I mean, I think it looks like him, the actual Benny,
Yeah,
which I mean is
yeah,
that's the idea. Um,
yeah. It doesn't just look like The
Definitely,
Rock.
yeah, it doesn't look like The Rock, really.
Yeah. Yep. Good old Emily Blunt's there too, because she making movies like crazy. Um,
Yeah,
working, working actress for sure.
people
I
seem
don't
to
know.
like her. So,
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, um, this so far this summer has been um, not great movies wise of box office. Um,
yeah,
Fall Guy underperformed.
you're
Kingdom of
rethinking
the Planet
your
of the Apes.
billion-dollar movies.
I don't. I'm not. I'm almost confident now. I feel like most of the movies this year are not going to make anywhere near
Yeah,
$1 billion. I think movies could get in the top 10 and make like $300 million. Like I was talking about last year. The top 10 movies of the year that's like barely made $500 million. I'm thinking it's going to be less. It looks like we're in for a rough year at the box office because nothing like the whole month of May, nothing hit. Um, like at all. I mean, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes was a moderate hit, but it's at like 300 million right now. So
Hmm.
if underperformed Furiosa, Garfield, Fall Guy, yeah, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes made a little bit of money, but it's rough. I mean, um, I think like Despicable Me and Deadpool. I mean, um, yeah. So I saw that Fandango, the third party ticketing company, they did a survey of their customers to see what their anticipated movies of the summer were. Um, from the members, number one was Deadpool and Wolverine.
Hmm.
Number two was Bad Boys, Ride or Die.
Yeah.
Number three was Despicable Me 4. Number four was A Quiet Place Day 1. And number five is Inside Out 2. That's the top five anticipated movies based on whoever they surveyed. I'm guessing it's people like an email or something. I would guess. So that's an interesting thing. I mean, we'll see how like A Quiet Place was not in the top five there, and Bad Boys. I mean, I we that was like such a mystery,
Hmm.
And we also talked about our what we thought our top five box office of the summer is, and none of us put Bad Boys on there. Uh,
I
you know,
mean, didn't the last one not do that well either? Am I crazy? There was a last one, and I don't think it
it
was.
came out in 2020. It came out. It was the did the best that year in 2020.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was like one of the last movies to come out before the pandemic happened, and it still did. It did decently. It didn't do like horribly. I'm pretty sure. I just think the movie was bad.
Yeah.
And I mean, from the trailers that I've seen, I haven't seen anything that would make me believe that movie, the movie's going to be amazing or anything.
Uh,
Yeah, Bad Boys for Life made $426 million. It's pretty good, and that was during 2020.
maybe we
So
overlooked that one. But I mean, Will Smith hasn't exactly had good press since 2020.
yeah,
So,
yeah, but I think it might have been enough time has passed because I think that was in 21. So maybe enough time has passed and people have forgotten.
mhm.
Um,
Yeah, I
but
guess we'll see.
yeah, but I mean, I'm looking at the my picks and on me and Dad's doing the movie draft and me and you doing the box office for the summer, and I was like, man, maybe I should have picked some weird outside choices. Well, I'm hoping that A Quiet Place does well. And this is the first Quiet Place I'm gonna watch. Uh, so we'll
This
see.
was like the first one I was thinking of not watching, to be honest. But probably have to review it. So,
Yeah, I think we're gonna talk about it. Um, I mean, I know that people are excited about Deadpool and Wolverine, and then some people are excited about um, Despicable Me, but it's looking pretty rough. Even for the rest of the year, it's looking rough. I was looking at the holiday season. There's nothing really. I mean, Moana 2 and Wicked come out the same weekend um, for Thanksgiving. But I mean, Christmas looks pretty sad on on the movies. But we'll see what happens. All right. Um, yeah. So I just thought that was an interesting little survey. I don't, that's a. I'm sure it wasn't even hundreds of thousands of people they surveyed. I'm sure it was like
yeah, they
a
serviced
few.
5 dudes, and one of them was like, "Yeah, bad boys for life."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a Bad Boys Ride or Die. That's the next one.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna go through some quick things here because most of these are just like release dates. We got Agatha all along. That was the real title. It was those were all fake titles that they kept changing the title. It's called Agatha all along. It's coming out in September of this year.
It's a
Any
TV
interest in
show.
that? Yeah.
Uh, no, not really.
All right. Cool. Mortal Kombat 2, October 2025 release date.
That's really far away.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yep.
yeah, I mean, I'll watch another one, even though like that the main character sort of.
Blue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see if they continue to do him as the main character. We'll see.
Okay.
I would hinge a guess that he would not be the main character. He would
Yeah.
be a
Everything
character.
else was
But
pretty good, but
yeah, I agree. Um, and Carl Urban will be Johnny Cage there. Speaking of Carl Urban, the boys already renewed for season 5 ahead of season 4
nice.
coming out. So we know the boys will be coming back. Um,
Cool.
we'll see what happens with this recent season. Um, Supergirl will come out in June 2026. So
Hmm.
Superman's coming out June 2025, and Supergirl will come out the year exactly a year after, pretty much.
All right.
So
We'll
with the
finally
girl,
see if all that rebooting slash not rebooting pays off.
the girl, the girl from House of the Dragon is the one that's going to be Supergirl. So we'll see how that goes. Edgar Wright is going to make a Barbarella movie starring Sydney Sweeney. Barbarella was a movie from the 70s, I want to say, with, oh my gosh, Jane Fonda. So he's doing a remake. That's be his first movie in quite some time.
Hmm.
I think since like 2020, 2021 ish. Edgar Wright made Scott Pilgrim, Baby Driver, uh, the like Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz and stuff. So definitely has a unique voice. So that's an interesting choice for him to make. Doesn't seem like a movie that he would make. So I'd be curious to see what he would do with that. Um, uh, Leading action, I guess his protagonists are usually like young people, I think, kind of edgy almost. So
I guess.
I don't
Yeah.
know. We'll see. Nicolas Cage is going to star in a live action Spider-Man noir series.
Like a
The character
show.
from the animated
Yeah, but a show.
Spider-Man. Yeah, live action Spider-Man noir.
I mean, I like the character and everything from the movie, but I mean that it just seems unnecessary to me. Why
Yeah,
do it live action? I don't know. Guess
that'll be Amazon Prime.
well, I guess we'll see how that turns out.
That's interesting. Well, that's a Sony property, so Spider-Man. So I guess they need somewhere to put it. Uh, and then Phoebe Waller-Bridge is creating a Tomb Raider series, and that's going to be at Amazon as well.
I think I heard about that one.
Any interest in that?
I mean, I
I mean, I like Tomb Raider.
who was that?
Phoebe Waller-Bridge, she did she did Fleabag. It's where she got like really popular, but she was in Indiana Jones, the most recent Indiana Jones.
Like she's gonna be Tomb Raider?
I don't think so. I think she's
Okay.
just like I could be wrong, but I don't think so. You can look that up really fast. Your series. Uh, she will write and executive produce the show based on Tomb Raider. It's been in development since last year, but it got picked up. She has apparently really likes uh, Tomb Raider, likes the character, and she's interested in writing. She is uh, happy to write it.
Yeah,
Um,
we'll see about that.
it is from the people. It is from it's being made by the, as well, like producing by the people that made those more recent games, the young Laura Croft games, the Crystal Dynamics. So same people who did the movie, um, which I think there was supposed to be another movie at some point, but I haven't.
I mean, that
Well,
movie was pretty meh.
it was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fine. I mean, say what you will about the Angelina Jolie movies, but they were at least entertaining.
Yeah.
So, and also it's Angelina Jolie. So, I
Yeah.
mean, I know that we are fans of her. So, um,
We'll see. I don't know. Some people say that they like the story of Yay game character, and then they try to change things and stuff, and it just ends up being poopy.
I think that it has been proven that if you actually work with the people that make the game and
Yeah.
just kind of stick to what makes those games good, it does well. When you don't do that, that's when it sucks.
Yeah. That doesn't
So,
mean people will learn.
yeah, well, I mean, that's a character that you can. I feel like that character is not even a character that is that difficult. Like this seems like a pretty straightforward, slam dunk, easy character to do
Yeah.
for me. But maybe I'm wrong. But I mean, I'm no writer or anything. So what do I know? Um, but yeah, I mean, I think that is interesting to me. Um, all right, so now we got some casts. The next Jurassic World movie. We have uh,
It'll never
our first
end.
people here. We got Jonathan Bailey, who's been on what's it called, Bridgerton. It's going to be in Wicked coming up this year. Rupert Friend, who most recently was the Inquisitor, whatever, the High Inquisitor or whatever in Star Wars. Um, Mahershala Ali, um, who's Oscar-winning actor,
I know what that is. Yeah.
and Scarlett Johansson is confirmed to be in the movie. So, and this once again is the one that's going to be directed by Gareth Edwards, who did The Creator and Godzilla. Um, so, kind of interesting. That piques my interest. I think the director does a good job. He also did Rogue One, uh, and the cast seems pretty good so far. Some talented actors, so we'll see.
Yeah. Problem is, it's a Jurassic Park movie.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll see what happens. Could be bad. Could be good.
I mean, I don't think it'll be the same level of Godzilla and Kong or whatever. You know, people keep seeing
Yeah.
them. It'll keep making money, and we'll never stop seeing them. So,
I liked those Godzilla Kong movies, so
yeah.
no problems here. All right. So, another cast here. We got, they announced the next Knives Out movie. It's going to come out next year, 2025. The title is Wake Up, Dead Man. Um, and we have the last few days they've been kind of trickling out the cast, and this is the cast we have so far. Obviously, Daniel Craig returning, Josh O'Connor, who was just in Challengers, and I think he was on The Crown. Kayleen Spaney, she was just in Priscilla and Civil War. Andrew Scott, who was in All of Us Strangers last year, and he was in Fleabag. Kerry Washington, who was on Scandal, Glenn Close, Jeremy Renner, Mila Kunis. That's our cast so far
Hmm.
for the next Knives Out movie. So interesting cast.
I guess, yeah.
Uh, there was rumor that they were gonna get Tom Hardy, and the other rumor was Lindsay Lohan. So I don't think either of those rumors were true. I think they were just
Okay.
people just made up names and threw them out there. I think.
Yeah.
Um, so they got a couple big names there, and then they got new young kind of up and comer people as well. Um, I mean, I don't. I mean, the first one probably had the most famous cast. I would say the second one they had some other people, um, but it is interesting. They do get it like he seems to get like a mix of like people that are kind of been not doing a lot. Like Mila Kunis, I haven't seen her in a lot of acting recently. Uh,
Yeah, true. Yeah.
so
I mean, she does Family Guy. But yeah, no.
oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't even like think of stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean like she hasn't been in like a big movie in years.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she's like a parent or something, right? And
Yeah, she probably does her own thing, and
yeah,
she's with Ashton, right?
yeah.
Who doesn't really act that much either. So
Yeah, I mean, they kind of both. Well, maybe just her. I mean, with Family Guy, she's probably set for life. She really doesn't need to act, right?
oh yeah, I mean she's in Family Guy and that '70s show. I mean she's been into like long running
Yeah.
shows. So yeah, I mean, she probably just picks whatever she finds to be interesting at this point. She doesn't really like need to do it, probably.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, what do you think? Are you interested in another one of these movies, or you're like, I don't care that much?
I mean, I didn't care that much the last one that came out. So, I mean, same boat. Hopefully, it's entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, I like both of the movies, and I like murder mystery, so I'm definitely interested. I'll definitely be watching. I mean,
Hmm.
I like the character and his goofy accent, Daniel Craig. So, I
Hmm.
mean, I'll definitely check it out. Um, and I mean, I like Ryan Johnson. So,
Hmm.
and I mean, people don't like Ryan Johnson because of Star Wars, so it makes me like him more. Um, so, because people are whiny,
Okay.
and I don't. I thought that movie was the best one of the three. So
I mean, being a special turd doesn't make you better than a turd. So,
that's good. That's a good point. Polishing a turd, as they say. All right, so my last one before we get into some trailers here. Ryan Coogler is rumored to not only be doing Black Panther 3, also rumored to be doing X Men because they are definitely developing an X Men movie for Marvel.
yeah.
You don't like that choice?
No, not really.
Why not?
Black Panther 2 was not a good movie. The
Oh, it was a good movie. You're wrong on that.
No,
That's okay.
it was there were some water people with some water balloons.
Okay, well, the first Black Panther was good. He made Creed. He's done other good movies. I
The
mean,
one Creed
he's
that I saw was painful. Uh,
that was not the one he directed. He directed the
oh,
first
okay,
one.
okay, okay. And then,
He
yeah, I
directed
will
the
say the
first one.
first Black Panther was good, minus the CG rhinos. But
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. I just, I would, I don't know. X Men's a big thing. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, they've been talking to Ryan Coogler about all the movies, maybe doing the Avengers movie. I mean, they've talked to him about a lot of things. Um, the Rock possibly might do X Men as well. He's thinking he they the rumor was him
Oh
doing Apocalypse. I don't think that's a good choice.
no,
Yeah,
Rocket, get out of it. Get,
yeah,
stay in your lane, bro. Go back. Go act your little prosthetics off there.
yeah, exactly. What do you think about a Janelle Monet as Storm? What do you think of that?
Who's that?
Janelle Monet. She was in. Oh gosh, what have I don't, I'm trying to think of anything that you would have seen her in. Oh, she's in the Last Glass Onion. She's the one that the whole story hinges on her.
For which one?
If you're Glass Onion, the last Knives
Oh,
Out movie.
oh yeah. Okay. I guess that'd be fine.
I mean, she's uh, incredibly talented. Uh,
Honestly, I just kind of want the old person to come back.
Halle Berry,
Yeah, so he doesn't like look bad or anything. I don't know. She was in John Wick not that long ago.
Janelle Monáe is in Hidden Figures, Moonlight. She's in the Harriet Tubman movie. Yeah, not a lot of movies you've seen,
Yeah.
um, but she's good. I mean, she seems a little short to be Storm. This Janelle Monáe is like tiny. She's like 5 foot. So, but I mean, I think she's a good actress. So, um, yeah, because of X Men '97 doing so well, people are saying all these rumors or whatever.
Mm.
Um, so I don't know if any of them are actually true or not. Um, but it is an interesting, you know, there's some interesting prospects, and it kind of see it kind of it'll be interesting to see what uh, like how Deadpool and Wolverine will kind of we'll probably get some more uh, a little bit more clarity when that movie comes out and we actually get some X-Men in there, right? Um, so we'll see what happens there. They've gotten a writer, and the writer has written some pretty okay movies. His most recent movie that this guy wrote, this guy's name's Michael Leslie. The last movie he wrote was that last Hunger Games movie.
Hmm.
So hope they get some other writers to help write that movie.
They should just
Um,
get the people who did Endgame and stuff. Like, just give them whatever money they need because they know what they were doing.
yeah, I think they've kind of tapped out.
I think
Um,
you're right. I don't think they would come back, but I mean, you know, the same
I
thing what you
mean,
do with Johnny Depp or whatever. You just keep adding zeros, right?
yeah, it's not worth it for Johnny Depp. I'll tell you that. Yeah, uh, we'll see. Um, I mean, the Russos. I mean, the Gray Man was okay. They made another movie recently, I think. Those are the guys who did the
I
motion.
know. I don't care what they've done since or anything. They did ensemble superhero movies really good, and that's literally what X Men is. That's what you need.
Yeah, they produce they produce Extraction 2, and co he co-wrote one of them co-wrote Extraction 2. Ugh, they made Cherry. That was bad. Hmm. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I think it probably won't be any of the people that have already made the movies. Like a Ryan Coogler or something. It'll probably be like some new person. Um,
I don't think that would be a good choice, but yeah, I see what you're.
I mean, the writer for X-Men is a new person, so I don't. We'll see what they do with the Avengers, but I mean, they need wins, and getting people that have made okay to crap movies is probably not the way to go. We'll see what happens.
What are you talking about? They made the end game in it.
Not those guys.
Um, you're
I'm saying
talking about those
new
new people.
people.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So we'll see what happens. Um, I mean, that doesn't mean people don't have potential to get better or whatever, but I don't know. Yeah, that is all the news that I have. You are ready to get into some trailers here?
yeah.
All right. So, like I said, for Thanksgiving, we have two musicals coming out.
Oh
You
good.
got Moana 2 and Wicked. Um, so let's talk about Wicked first. What did you think of the trailer?
Not interested.
So this trailer, if you watched the trailer that I think you did, basically spoils the entire plot.
Yeah,
It is not as like it's basically like you if you know it if you if you're gonna watch it. It's like I don't know why you wouldn't you know
I
save
mean,
anything.
I don't know. Do people really care that much? I mean, you're probably already seeing it if you know it,
Yeah,
and you're probably
yeah,
not seeing it unless you have like a girlfriend or a boyfriend or something that likes it and they are dragging you to it.
yeah,
So,
or kids or something.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't know. It's looking to be an interesting holiday season. Moana 2. What'd you think of that trailer? I thought it looked interesting. It was a TV show originally, and then it was either they thought it was really good and went, let's make this into a movie, which is unlikely in my thoughts,
Or they
or
got money hungry and they're
they
like,
said we need money, we need to
yeah.
win, and so put it out and make it into a movie, which is most likely what
Yeah,
happened.
I mean, since when has a Disney movie 2, 3, 4 ever done better than one? Almost never, if ever. Um,
That's a good question. I think,
so I think it'll be mid. I know people liked Frozen too, but I mean, I think we can just chalk that up to people really like the music. I wouldn't even say the first plot of the first movie was that great, but yeah, I don't. I think it'll just be another splash in the water, but people really like Moana, so it'll probably do pretty well.
yeah, Frozen 2 made 1.4 billion dollars. The first one made 1.2 billion dollars, so it did indeed make more than the first one.
Yeah.
I mean, the first Moana was a moderate hit. It's honestly done so well on Disney Plus. I mean,
Hmm.
um, that as I mean, because that movie came out like 8 years ago at
Yeah.
this point, so I think they just need something.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, um, yeah, Frozen 2 second highest grossing animated film of all time. So we'll see how this one does. I mean, I'll watch it. I liked the first one. Um, we got the it's basically that movie is basically just the two of them, and they're back, and I don't know if they're gonna. I don't know what the story is or anything. It was a tease for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, just like Frozen 2, nobody really cares what the story is. People, all the kids are just wanting to see Elsa doing whatever, singing, and that's it. It doesn't matter what they're doing.
yeah, That's a good point.
It doesn't matter if the parents even enjoyed the film. It really doesn't. So
Yeah. Well, we'll see how that does. I mean, I think it could do really well, but if the movie's bad, then it's a whole different story. That's kind of how I feel about Deadpool. I mean, it could if it's a good movie, that movie could do really really well. If it's bad, then it's gonna not do
I
well.
don't know. I
So
think Moana has such a big pull, like Frozen, that even if the movie's bad, even if it's like Minions bad, it's still gonna make a ton of money.
yeah, well, that was one of my picks for the year. So I mean, I'm hoping. Um, yeah. All right. So those are our two Thanksgiving movies there. Um, let's talk about Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. What do you think of that trailer?
It looks cringe, man. That looks bad.
Yeah. I mean, for I mean, we're not. I mean, I'm not like I can't wait for that movie to come out or anything. So I could see how you feel that way. And there's a lot of like, hey, here's this person, but you're like, I don't know because I don't know the other ones. So it's like,
Yeah,
who cares? Yeah,
it looks bad.
yeah. I mean, he's done. He did Coming to America, and I think he did some. Did he do one more thing where it's like another old project? I
Maybe.
can't
I
remember.
don't know.
I can't. I think maybe it was just Coming to America, but that movie was not good.
I didn't watch it. I heard it was bad. So
But I'm not sure if this is one of the ones that they're going to put in the theaters for a little bit or whatever or not. Um, but I mean, I'll probably see it. I've definitely seen the first one, maybe two,
I've probably seen
um,
one before, but I mean,
just a long time
I
ago.
don't
Yeah.
remember it now. That's for sure.
Yeah, I know for a fact I've seen the first one. It puts like a banana in the guy's tailpipe and stuff like that.
Oh,
You never seen that?
okay.
I mean, you'd
I
remember
mean,
that, I
it's
think.
just like earlier Bad Boys, right? But it's just him.
I think some people would be not happy with that statement.
I mean,
That's pretty funny.
he's a cop and it's a comedy.
He's by himself, though.
Yeah, that's what I said, but he's by himself. But I'm sure
Yeah,
he had some kind of partner or
yeah,
something.
he does. The guy, the one guy, he's obviously looks older now, and
Yeah,
he's the white guy, Judge Reinhold's character. I think is his partner in that. Yeah,
I'm just saying when they made Bad Boys, they were probably had this in mind.
I bet you they
Yeah.
did. I bet you they did. I mean, Bad Boys was what, like 2000?
Yeah.
I think the last Beverly Hills Cop movie came out in like 90 something, 94 or something. So it wouldn't have been that long since the last Beverly Hills Cop came out. So this one has like Joseph Gordon-Levitt in it, or some other new people in it, not just a bunch of old dudes. So I don't know.
Does he look weird, by the way? Love it.
He's just older. I think he's kind of taken aback from acting as much recently.
Because, like,
I
yeah,
mean, he
like
was in
every
it.
time I see him, I was like, hey, is that one guy that's been in stuff
Mhm.
before? And then I'm like,
Yeah,
wait, he looks different. I don't know. It's throwing my
yeah,
brain off.
Robin.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He does look different. I think he has like longer hair now. He was in the movie last year, Florence, which I liked. Um, but that's like the first time I'd seen him in a long time.
Okay. What other trailers we got?
Um, Beetlejuice 2, Beetlejuice.
Yeah. I saw the trailer. I'm like, I don't know why everyone's so hype. Does nothing for
I
me.
mean, people like the first one. You seen the first one?
I think so, but
Okay, good.
it's in the ether
Maybe.
now. So,
It's a pretty good movie, the first one. I mean, I get the references. I've seen the
mm,
movie, so I mean, I'm definitely gonna watch it. I like Michael Keaton. I don't think, once again, he's one of those people where even if it's a bad movie, he's good. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a movie where I thought, oh man, Michael Keaton really sucked in that movie. I don't think I've ever felt that way. I think even if he's given crap, he'll try his best. Um, I mean, like even like the other guys, he plays the captain in the other guys, where he like
He's just
keeps saying like
he keeps just singing
TLC
to you.
songs.
So yeah, that's his
Yeah,
whole shtick. Yeah, it's funny
yeah.
actually.
It's funny though. He's hilarious. I mean, he's good in everything. He's good. I think he's really good as the Vulture and that the Tom Holland
Yeah,
Spider Man.
yeah.
I mean, I still think he was good as the Batman in the Flash, even though I thought the Flash was bad. But I still think Michael Keaton's good.
I mean, yeah, he did his best.
Yeah. So it's funny. He did Beetlejuice, and then the year after he did Batman, and and last year he was in the Flash, and this year he's in Beetlejuice too. So it's kind of interesting how that's working out. But um, I mean, he's good.
Just going,
So I'm
just
cool.
doing his
I'm cool
greatest
with
hits,
Michael
I
Keaton.
guess.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, he's great in Birdman. I mean, Michael Keaton's a great actor. So I mean, and you got Winona Ryder back, and you got Miss New Goth uh, uh, muse for goth people now in Jenna Ortega. She's like the new Helena
Yeah,
Bonham Carter or Eva Green or whatever, just a new
you
person that
got, yeah, you got to have that
goth
person
people
for
like.
the next generation. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, I'm sure people thought Winona Ryder as that person. So yeah, um, yeah. So we'll see. Remains to be seen if that movie's good, but I mean, I like the first one. We'll see how the second one does. That has a possibility of being a pretty good hit if the movie is good, I think.
Well, it's releasing at the right time, so that helps.
Coming out in September, not Labor Day, but like the weekend after. So that's interesting to see how that'll do. I think the fall has some more interesting movies than the summer and the when at least things that seem not original, but at least different. So we'll see what happens. Another one that's coming out in September that has piqued my interest is this trailer for Wolves with Brad Pitt and George Clooney.
This looked like the best thing the trailers I saw.
I'm interested. I'm interested. I mean, I like those two actors. I mean,
Yeah,
even that movie we saw with George Clooney and Julia Roberts, I think
yeah.
we enjoyed that movie. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't bad a movie.
I mean,
I
that
mean,
was
he
like
just
one of the better rom coms of like a
recent.
while. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just they are charismatic. These people are charismatic, and him and Brad Pitt have good chemistry together.
I
So
mean, yeah, they're just doing their shtick from Oceans. It's like literally the same thing.
yeah, pretty much. I think it's funny. I mean, it looks funny. I mean, I like kind of the. I've always kind of liked that kind of backdoor, kind of. He's like they're like fixers or whatever. I think all that like Pulp Fiction and stuff like that. They're it's in those lines. I like that stuff. I
Yeah.
like
It's like a
so,
almost like a buddy cop film or something, but
but
they're
opposite
yeah,
like dark comedy.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah. It's so funny. I looked up this trailer, like I looked up like articles about this, and every article has like a different way to describe it. They're like action comedy, action thriller, psychological thriller. Like they're like people like can't pin down what kind of movie this movie
Huh.
is. I think there was like articles that were written before the trailer came out, and then there was articles written after the trailer came out. So they're like people are trying to like
Okay.
describe this movie because I think it was just described as a thriller, and now it's kind of like comedic at the same time.
Definitely just seemed comedic to me. I don't know why they're going
Yeah,
the thriller part. Maybe there's
yeah.
action in this film, but it didn't look like.
Well, there's probably going to be tense moments where they're like trying to
Yeah, I guess.
not
Yeah.
get caught like that. So we'll see. Um, yeah. Boo boo boo. Yeah, I think that was everything, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which review you want to do first?
Let's. I think X-Men will take longer, so let's talk about Furiosa.
Okay.
I haven't written any notes for this. So I thought this movie was too long. Uh, it was decent movie. Um, I think Chris Hemsworth. Most of the movies that I like Chris Hemsworth in the most are the ones where he is a villain. So I think I liked him here, even though I think his big fake nose is really ridiculous. Um, and I think Anya Taylor Joy did a good job, even though she's like only in half of it. Um, um, the action was good, but I thought the plot was kind of boring. Um, and there's like revelations about Chris Hemsworth characters that pretty much happen in the last 10 minutes of the movie. They kind of like don't give him much to do, and then they're like, here's all his story at the end. His motivations at the end, which I didn't love.
Yeah,
Um,
I see what you're saying.
I felt
Yeah.
like this movie was very meandered quite a bit, and then the parts that were interesting is when they get to like Fury Road and stuff like that, and I think that's just people are just gonna go, well, I mean, I like Fury Road, but I feel like most people are gonna say Fury Road is better, or I just like Fury Road more, and it just makes me think about that movie. I think I probably liked this movie more than Fury Road, but I'm also not a huge fan of Fury Road. So, but I thought this movie was decent. Um, I don't think I would ever watch it again or anything. Um,
It kind of made me want to watch the first one again because I don't really remember it too
yeah,
much.
yeah. Well, because it came out like 9 years
A
ago,
while ago, yeah,
so I was in high school when this movie came. The first one, that one came out. So
yeah.
yeah. So uh, what about you? Did you like it?
I thought it was good. Yeah, I thought the action was great. No shaky cam or anything,
Yeah,
and like the set pieces that they had for when they did have action were interesting.
yeah,
Um, I actually kind of like the plot. It was not too overly complicated. It was just, I mean, I don't want to spoil anything. Like it's a revenge plot,
yeah.
you
I think
know.
you
But
can get that from the trailer. Like the,
yeah, yeah, I'm
I
trying to
think
be
you can
vague.
glean that from
It's
that.
pretty
Yeah,
much a revenge plot, which I mean, I personally I like. Um,
yeah. I just don't think it kept my interest the whole time.
yeah,
Doesn't
the
make it a bad
beginning's
movie,
kind of
but
long, and
yeah,
I could see your point where she's not really in the beginning because the beginning's kind of long.
yeah. I mean, she
And
doesn't show up until like an hour in the movie. Like,
yeah,
well, she's there. It's a young version of her, a
yeah,
younger version of
I
the
see what you're saying. Yeah,
Furiosa. Yeah. Um, I thought the girl did fine. I felt like everything was like, well, yeah, I thought that was fine, and I thought this was fine, and I thought that was fine, but I wasn't like, wow, I mean, the action was good, but I expected the action to be good. I mean, the first one had good action, right? But it also seemed more CGI, and the last one, everyone was like, "Oh, it's practical, and look how practical everything is." And this one seemed more CGI, and little model of men, CGI model guys falling off motorcycles and stuff like that. Um, I mean, I think I'm at like a 7 for this movie.
yeah. I think I'm at
Um,
like an 8. I think my IGN you know -2 still holds strong because they gave it a 10. I don't know how this movie's a 10, but
yeah, it's not a 10. I mean, IMDb it's at like an 8 right now. So um, I don't know. I There's weird stuff to the movie that I'm not a big fan of, but that's George Miller's always had weird,
yeah. I
creepy
think if
stuff.
you're a fan of the world of Mad Max, I think you'll enjoy it.
Yeah,
Obviously,
exactly.
it was made for them, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I think they nailed
Unfortunately,
it for them. But
yeah.
you don't
Unfortunately,
like that, so
unfortunately, I don't like that, and a lot of people don't seem to like that because this movie did the worst Memorial Day weekend in 40 years.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't just that movie too, right? Wasn't there something else that came out?
Garfield.
And I mean, that didn't do that well either, right?
Yeah, but this is 4 day weekend did $25 million, or 3 day. Yeah, 3 day weekend, $24 million.
Yeah. Oh, maybe it's a movie, or maybe people don't want to see movies. I don't know what it is. Maybe the movies just didn't have enough pull. I don't know. I was. This is one of the more anticipated movies I was of the summer. So
Yeah,
I think it was there. Just I don't know. Maybe people had to work.
I have no idea. I know I was working. Um, uh, yeah. Uh, I mean, I'm glad I didn't put this on my top five. But I don't know.
Well, even you said that movies are not going to make as much
Yeah,
this
yeah, but
summer,
this
so
one,
this might actually do well.
the last time the movies did this bad for Memorial Day was when Return of the Jedi came out. 41 years. That's
Hmm.
pretty bad. And that was $30 million in the 80s, which for inflation, this is like way more. So yeah. Um, okay, so what did you say? You said eight. I'm at a seven, maybe like a 6.5. We can get into spoilers here. So yeah, so she doesn't really. It's like a young version of her, and she's at the Green Place. That's where she's from, and where it's like an oasis in the
Land of
wasteland,
Abundance.
land of
Hmm.
abundance. Yeah, exactly. And she gets taken by like a biker gang kind of looking guys, and the mom goes after to grab to get her back, right? And she's like sniping them and stuff, and
Isn't that what's his head's wife that was like, "I'll go with you," but then doesn't go with her?
it is Chris Hemsworth's wife. I didn't know that until a couple, I think like yesterday I found that out.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know how you know that, but
I knew that for some reason. I don't know why.
she's the lady in the Fast and the Furious, the
The
one that.
Fast Furious, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think that's when I found that out. But
I
yeah.
didn't know that. That's interesting. And apparent, not only is she that lady was there, she's a she has two roles in this movie.
She does.
Yeah. Do you know what the other one is? You want to
No,
guess?
I literally have no idea.
It is that one where they have like that fight to see who gets on the motorcycles or
Oh, she's
whatever.
the one with the messed up
She's the
face.
yeah, that's her. She's
Okay. Yeah, I had no idea.
yeah, pretty good actress there. I was like,
Mhm.
because I remember in the beginning of the movie, I was like, I've seen that girl before. Where have I seen her before? And I was like, she's barely in this movie. Apparently, she was in it more than I thought. She just has a lot of prosthetics on. So,
Okay. Yeah, I had
um,
no idea.
yeah, I mean, there's good parts to the movie. Yeah, so yeah, and then she's at the Citadel, which is the Immortan Joe, who's the bad guy in the last one, and she is there, and creepy stuff happens, and then she kind of pretends to be a guy, Furiosa. That's when we get to Anya Taylor Joy as Furiosa. She's like tiny compared to all these dudes.
Yep.
She says they say she's mute, or he's mute or whatever, and covers most of her face, even though she has enormous eyes that are very recognizable. Uh,
No, no, yeah, no.
yeah,
You look familiar.
yeah, yeah, um, yeah. So there's definitely a time pass because she's young and then she's older, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but I mean, it was fine. I know they had to set up, tell a story here, but I was just like okay with it. And you meet Chris Hemsworth's character, obviously, and and he's just like a crazy guy or whatever. Dementus is his name. But yeah, what I was I got was only interested when they got to the Fury Road stuff, where she's, that with the guy who's she, you know, starts to like or whatever, who's the driver or whatever, and she helps him, and they go on Fury Road and stuff like that, and there's good action. That whole action scene when they're driving and they're like
Yeah,
throwing the bombs and stuff. I like that stuff. That
yeah,
stuff
it's
is
great.
cool. But that's the
Yeah,
cool part about Fury Road and stuff like that. It's just the
yeah,
other stuff that I don't care about, unfortunately. So when there was an action happening, I was like, okay. But I did think their relationship was decent, her and the guy. Um, so I liked that stuff. Um, so yeah, I mean, and then yeah, so he wants Dementis, Chris Hemsworth character wants control of everything, right? So he wants to take over the three places. One is the Citadel, and then there's Gas Town and the Bullet Farm or whatever. He takes over, what is it, the Bullet Farm or Gas Town?
Gastown is first.
He takes over Gas Town, and then he tries to go out to the Bullet Farm, and then there's they're chasing after her and the guy who was driving the big rig or whatever and all that stuff. And she wants revenge because her mom has gotten killed when she was a kid, and then he gets killed or whatever, and she goes after him, and leads up to their face off at the end or whatever. um, and I didn't really love the way she handled it. I guess it makes sense or whatever, but I'm assuming that's in Fury Road, and I just didn't remember it. The what happens to him or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. I can't remember, to be honest.
You don't know what happens to him at the end?
No, I know what happens to him at the end, but I didn't. I don't
Oh,
remember if
okay.
that's in Fury Road or not. Like it probably
Um,
is.
Maybe I don't
It,
remember. Yeah.
yeah. So it's probably like if you remember that movie and you like that movie, you're probably like, oh, okay, interesting or whatever. But it's like backstory for something that's probably like barely there. You know what I mean? In the
Hmm.
in the movie,
Yeah.
probably. So I don't know. It's fine. Um, I don't
Yeah.
got anything else to
There
say.
really, yeah, there really isn't that many spoilers, I'd say. Um, yeah,
It's
I don't know.
very
I thought the action scenes were great. So,
yeah, yeah. I mean that really good action scenes. That's like half of it. That gets me to like a 5, and then I need more than that. Just action scenes doesn't make it a great movie for me. Um,
yeah.
I mean, Fast and the Furious has a lot of fun action, but you know,
No, the action is just different, way different levels. Fast and Furious action, they would have to like the sand would have to like go in like loops or something, and then they'd have to drive on the loops or something for it to be that. It's just really silly. Just think of something stupid, and then there's Fast and Furious.
I mean, I think most of the stuff in this movie is silly. There's like giant claws and stuff on trucks and
Yeah,
things, motorcycle chariots and stuff. It's all goofy stuff, but it's just
it all seems somewhat real. I mean, they're not jumping from one truck to another truck while catching a person in midair and then
yeah,
landing on the windshield and
that is
stuff.
pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, there's different levels to it.
I agree.
Plus, and there's like no cuts, which is what I like. I like to be able to see what happens. And
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think the movie needed to be as long as it was. Could have been 2 hours. Didn't have to be two and a
yeah,
half hours.
we all knew you were gonna say it was too long of a movie, for
I
sure.
mean, I'm okay with a long movie if it keeps my attention.
Yes, world building you struggle with, and you get bored.
You got to be an interesting world.
Well, some people seem to think so, but
Yeah.
yes,
Well, the people that thought so went and saw it, and then that was it, I
that's it.
guess.
Yeah. All right. So I'm at a 8. You're at a 7, maybe a 6.5. All right, let's get to X Men.
Well, I think the movie looks really good. Like the shots are really interesting and dynamic. So I think it's worth seeing in the theater. I think seeing it at home it would be fine. I think it's definitely a theater movie for me. So I would say see it in the theater. And if you don't see it in the theater, then you probably just
If you don't
skip.
see it in the theater, you might not even watch it. So
Exactly. That's why I think it's definitely a
yeah,
movie theater movie. If not, I think you could probably just skip it. I mean, if you didn't see the last one or whatever, you're probably not going to be like, oh, I can't wait to watch this one or whatever, you know. So, yeah.
yeah. I don't think you need to see the last one though to like this one though.
I think it would be interesting to watch this one first and then watch that one and see like
Yeah,
if
if
it
it
changed.
fits and everything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I don't want to go back and watch Fury Road. So
Fair
anyway,
enough.
all right. So yes, we're gonna talk about X-Men '97. This is a TV show, animated show, continuation of the X-Men animated series from the '90s. Um, what'd you think of this show?
Um, this show is weird. Um, it's got some high highs, I would say, and then it's got some low lows for sure. Um, I don't really even think the high highs are that high for me. They're cool, but I don't know. But when it's low, it's like, why the heck am I watching this show?
Mm.
So I just feel like the lows are just too low for me. What do you think?
I mean, I really like the X-Men. The X-Men are like it's like Spider-Man and X-Men were the first things that I saw when we were kids as like superhero stuff. I think. I mean, unless you count like a Power Rangers or something. Um, uh, so, I mean, I like the X Men a lot. Definitely have a soft spot for X Men and Spider Man, um, because of those movies from the 2000s. And I mean, um, I thought the show was pretty good, and I think if you're an X Men fan, there is lots of little things all over the place for you to be like, if you are an X Men fan, you're like, oh yeah, that thing I recognize. And most of the time, they're only like short, little things. Basically, that's what Morph is. It's just like be like, here's that character, whatever, when he changes in for like a joke or whatever. Um, but they did a really good job on actually following comics and kind of it might not be directly an adaptation of a comic, but they do sort of like an approximation of those comics, but with the characters that they have. Um, like in the comics, uh, he Cyclops uh, in the mind cheats on Jean Grey, but he cheats on her with Emma Frost, not like a another person in this show. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So
Honestly,
the
I think they stick too much to the comics because who can follow this crap? Like,
I mean,
it's
it's
all over the
very
place.
for me. I can see where someone might not like it because the X Men in the comics and definitely this show is very soap opera y at times, where it's like this person likes this person, and they don't love
Mm,
me, and then whatever love triangles, and someone dies but they don't die and they come back, or
lo-
amnesia, like
love
all of this.
triangles with two clones.
Yeah, 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 exactly. So there's a lot of soap opera-ness. So I can see why you wouldn't like that because I don't think you would be interested in anything anywhere near
Yeah,
that.
I think it would have hit more if this wasn't a continuation of the show, if it was like they started at the beginning or something, if there is technically a beginning, and then I get
Yeah.
to know the characters first and then we go into it. we're just jumping straight in, and everyone is hot so for someone,
Yeah.
and
I think I
I don't
think
know.
I think I don't mind just jumping in somewhere. I think because I feel like they still set up people and they have arcs and stuff. So I'm okay with that.
If you
Um
say so.
I mean, if you like I said, if you're a person that knows the comics and knows the X-Men, you're not
Mhm.
you're going to be like, "Oh yeah, okay, that's fine." Like I know how they're kind of they're pretty much all comics accurate down to like even the costumes that they wear are like from the comics. So, um I mean, I I like the X-Men and I like the characters and I mean, I get enough I can know enough from the little comic knowledge that I know plus like the movies and stuff. I kind of know. I knew that Cable is, Cyclops and Jean Grey's kid
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So,
I
and
will say this. It's better than What If by like a million. So
oh
there's
yeah, oh yeah. I think they did a really good job with the show actually. Um I mean, I'm at like an 8, but there is things that are goofy and I was like this the finale honestly for me, like the I'm it's the 3-part finale, but I think the last episode is definitely the weak like was pretty weak for me and they wrap it up really quickly, but that's what they have to do that cuz it's short, right?
Dude,
Like
they wrap up every storyline super quickly. It's like the
yeah.
thing happens and then it's gone. So yeah.
Yeah, there's some things that they literally wrap it up in half an episode. They don't even wrap it up in a full episode.
Yeah.
They wrap it up in like 15 minutes. So, I mean, I don't mind it, but it's like episodic in that way where it's just like the Saturday morning cartoons where this originated was from. You know what I mean? This was
Yeah.
a cartoon in the 90s Saturday mornings. You know what I mean? So I'm okay with it. It is, but it is like a more grown up version of those. Basically, that
For
there's
sure. I
definitely
don't even know
darker.
if I'd say this is for kids, honestly.
I mean, I think if you're probably like a 13, 14, you can enjoy this. Like like a teen, like a tween or a teen. I think it could work for you. You know,
Mm,
um, I mean, like the Batman animated series was for a little bit older group and stuff like that. There was just like some darker things, but this one is definitely darker. But I mean, there was a lot of good stuff in here. I mean, I think Storm was really cool. Gambit was cool. I like Nightcrawler a lot, and Nightcrawler was in it. Good stuff with him. Wolverine. I mean, Cyclops is actually the leader when like he's supposed to be. I mean, the stuff that I really didn't like was like the Jean Grey stuff, but I mean, I've always kind of been like okay with Jean Grey in general.
yeah.
Um,
And then she's just like, okay, this battle's over. Whew.
yeah,
Okay, back to
yeah.
normal.
There's a lot of the problem with X Men is there's a lot of characters that are like super overpowered, so then they can't and then they have to have like a villain that like can just basically do anything. Um,
Yeah.
so that's the
Yeah.
problem. It's like you can't have a like the most of the heroes don't overcome anything because Jean Grey is like a telepath and can make force fields and super strong and fly and just do everything, right? So and Magneto basically
Yeah,
can't do
there's like
anything and
Omega level
yeah,
mutants.
mutants. Yeah.
Magneto, Storm, Jean Grey. They're the
Yeah.
ones who win the fights,
Yeah.
or in this case, one almost ends the entire world.
Yeah,
So
exactly. So
yeah.
it is it's difficult. You have these characters like a Thor and stuff where they're like gods, right? Like and it's
Mhm.
those like their powers look cool or are interesting, but it's hard to have you're not really worried about Superman. You know he's probably going to win at the end. So I guess it's just you have to kind of situate where your expectations, because at the end they're gonna win, and that there's gonna be you know a continuation. There's gonna be another season, and
Hmm.
um, I felt like they almost had like a villain of the week, and didn't have a villain of the week at the same time. It was really
Yeah,
random. I don't.
it was very random. Mhm.
Um, I mean, the guy who was the showrunner, the executive producer on this show, he is no longer the producer. So I don't know if there was some sort of creative differences or anything when
Mm.
in this show or whatever. But I mean, I think the show was pretty good. I'm at like an 8.
Yeah, I think that's too high for me. I thought there was just too many low lows, specifically Jubilee episode where they're in the game. That was just
Oh, I
dog
didn't mind that
water.
at all.
That was bad. Yeah, I like Storm, but her little no power thing, that was dog water. And he was like, I love you. And she smacks him. That was hilarious.
So that one
But
episode, basically, you didn't like?
that was a half episode.
Yeah, because
Okay.
it's the same episode.
That was bad. The double Jean Grey thing was
Mm.
all right. Um, Charles was really lame, in my opinion. I don't think he has his own episode, though. Um, he's just kind of in space for like 5 seconds and then he comes back and he has his little bromance.
Yep.
Um, the where the Sentinel attacks them, that was pretty awesome because it actually felt like there was some stakes. And then Gambit and Rogue are probably my favorite. Um, I don't know. Am I missing any episodes?
Um, I mean, my least favorite was probably the first episode because they just trying to set things up or whatever. But then I feel like they kind of set it up and then they were like, "Eh," um,
Yeah.
because it was just like, okay, we need to get back into this, right? So you have to be like, here's all the characters and stuff, which is fine. But like, it's pretty much all the characters from the movie, like Beast and Cyclops and Rogue
Yeah.
and Jean Grey,
Yeah.
and like we know, and Magneto, like a story that has been told and told and told and told and told is Xavier and Magneto. Like
Hmm.
we've gotten it. It's been done. I mean, I
Yeah.
guess this one had a little bit of a twist on that. But I mean, I like because Magneto is supposed to be Malcolm X and Xavier's Martin Luther King Jr. That's originally when they were written. That's who they are. Um, because they're supposed to be
Hmm.
and then that the message has morphed over the years to suit whatever the person that's making it, a cultural thing, right? So X-Men inherently are political, right? So, they've always have been. So um the so like Brian Singer, his was an allegory for, and a lot of the stuff in this is like being gay. Um, that literally the
Yeah.
Sunspot's character is, he's like, I will you come with me to tell my mom that I'm a mutant? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
He was by far the worst part of the show.
yeah, so I mean,
Not even a question. He was terrible. I wish they'd cut that whole thing.
yeah, but I mean, I like that because I mean, I can see things, in that, and I get the allegory or whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? So I'm okay with it. And I'm fine with it. I mean, there's a lot of interesting stuff in this show. I think there's things that kind of lose me in that we can talk more after. What's your rating?
I don't know. I think I'm at like a 6 or 7.
Um, you're at a 6 or 7. So yeah, so we're at so in like, um, there was good stuff. So the like, but the thing that lost me, like, Rogue killed that guy. Like, just straight up killed that guy.
Okay.
Trask. He becomes a sentinel, so I guess you can kind of say
Yeah, yeah. He
it's
was a
okay.
robot. Yeah.
Yeah, but she kills him. She literally drops his ass
I
to his
mean,
death.
plenty of them kill some robots that are technically humans at the end, all over the place.
Yeah. Did they kill them?
I don't know.
I feel like most of them they just kind of like knock them out or
I
whatever. Like,
mean, Wolverine literally like stabbed one and like ripped it in half.
oh, okay,
So,
okay, yeah,
but I mean, Wolverine also did try to kill Magneto. So,
yeah,
like I
yeah,
said, I don't think it's really like almost kid oriented anymore.
yeah.
It's
But I
definitely
just
a
think,
higher
but
rating.
it's like a Batman killing someone or whatever. It's like you cross the line. I mean, Rogue, when Gambit dies, Rogue goes crazy. I mean, that was good stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I like X-Men because they seem like more like real people and less like superhero archetypes. I think they all live in a gray area. It's kind of what I like about X-Men, and they're complicated and interesting characters. And they stand for something. Um,
Hmm.
and they're not just like, yay, being a hero. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, but then, yeah, a lot of them are like overpowered and stuff like that. I would probably watch another season of this, but yeah, I wasn't like,
I think that's the biggest disappointment is I'm not really like really hyped for the next season or
no,
anything.
no, I'm not either. But I mean, I enjoyed it, and I thought there was a lot of good stuff in it. The attack on Genosha, and um, I mean, the second episode I thought was interesting, like the trial of Magneto and stuff like that. There was a lot of good monologuing and stuff. I think there was just dynamic and different stuff that I haven't seen before, that I think animation you can do with animation. Um, yeah, but there's
Yeah.
also characters that I like, Forge, like, yeah, stuff with Storm. Like, I don't really care about
Yeah.
that, but that's also half an episode, really. So it was like not a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it was half of an episode, but I mean, then like the next 3 episodes are all about the same thing. So it's like, can I really consider that one episode? You know what I mean?
yeah, it's things that I feel like there's a lot of the things that I didn't like were just feel like stuff I've seen before, like Magneto and Xavier. And in this one, Xavier going off world, pretending to die and going off world to just be with some chick. That was like, what are we doing here? It's like that, a complete dick move. Like, Charles just looked like a douche in this. I was like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, and I think they picked a terrible voice actor for him. So,
I don't know if it's the same guy from the original or not. I don't. I think I tried to watch the first couple episodes when I knew they were making this show, and I was like, this show is like very 90s. Uh, it's just like, I don't know. I don't watch most animated stuff, but I've I kind of give a pass to things if I heard it's good, and maybe I'll try it or whatever. But
mhm.
um, yeah, I haven't gone out of my way to watch some of this stuff, and I mean, I've seen lots of superhero things at this point, and I'm not even like the most inundated person. I would consider myself a casual, You know what I mean? So I don't know. We'll see. But I like X Men. I'm down with more X Men content. Fortunately, the things that I like the most of the time are the ones that are have issues and like a Blade, Daredevil,
True,
uh,
true, true, true.
X Men. We'll see what happens.
Hey man, I never got no Gambit movie. All right, he was
He
in
wanted to
a
do it
movie
so
for
dang
5 seconds,
bad.
and then
Channing Tatum wanted to do that so bad, and
I never got it. So
it was in
join the club.
development more than once. That Gambit movie with Channing Tatum. I mean, I don't know if you could have gotten that with Channing Tatum if it would have been any good. So it might,
True, it probably wouldn't
I
have.
I think Gambit is a cool character.
I think a Gambit movie now could be good. I don't know who would play him, but
Like I said, I think X Men has a lot of characters that are interesting. I think pretty much every X Men character is interesting in their own way. There's only a few that I'm kind of like on, like a Beast. Um, you know, there's not
no morph, please.
Morph fine. It's just male Mystique
Yeah,
basically. So
and I was never big on Mystique either.
I think Mystique in the movies, the original ones were good, and not Jennifer
I
Lawrence ones.
agree
But
with that.
um, and maybe she'll come back for this Deadpool and Wolverine. Seeing what happens.
I think if the X Men wants a big comeback, I mean, you start with Deadpool, Wolverine. I think
Yeah,
that puts your foot massively in the door if
yeah.
it's good.
I think they could do Cyclops leading the team and give him because Cyclops is pretty shafted in the movies. So I definitely think you could if you get someone the right person, you could do Cyclops justice. Um, I mean, people thought about Henry Cavill. I don't think that's a bad choice. I think he'd probably be a pretty good Cyclops, and he definitely seemed like someone who could lead an X Men team. Um, and I still think the guy from the Bears should be Wolverine. I think that's a great choice. So, um,
Right, right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Ryan Gosling was rumored to join the MCU. I wouldn't mind him as Cyclops either.
Hmm. No, he can play Gambit. I'd be okay with that.
Ryan Gosling with a Cajun accent.
You would, yeah, true. It'd be a bit. Honestly, it's gonna be a bit cringe to see his accent, no matter who plays it. I think so.
The guy who it's an interesting look they gave Gambit in this show. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, his yeah. It'll take a interesting choice to see who can do a Gambit with that
I
accent.
mean,
Yeah,
I don't think they need the accent to be honest in the movie form, but I guess if you're sticking to comics, you want to. But I think it's really just a cool guy, and he's like kind of like a suave, you
yeah. Well,
know.
just like Rogue, they didn't do the Southern
Yeah, they
accent,
didn't. Yeah, exactly. But
so
I don't know, and they kind of ditched her too. So
yeah,
you know,
yeah. Well, yeah. I think from what I remember them talking about X Men, they wanted to do a like original X Men, which is like Angel, Cyclops, Jean Grey, Iceman, and Toad or something. There's like it was different people. Um, Original X Men team. Original X Men team: Professor X, Storm, Cyclops, Angel, Iceman, Beast, and Colossus.
yeah, good thing they changed that.
Um, so yeah, we'll see. We'll see what they do. Um, there's a lot of interesting. You had other people in the show that we just watched, like to Bishop and Cable, and they had people come in and out or whatever, and They had little cameos from like other Marvel characters: Spider Man, Iron Man, Captain
Um,
America.
Captain America, are you sure you want to do that?
Yeah,
I could, might be bad.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna do it.
They were so stupid. They like shot like this asteroid's coming at the Earth because they shot it down because they're morons. That was
Yeah,
such a weird. Yeah, that like I said, the last episode was like interesting for
yeah,
me, and it's just like resolved, and we
yeah,
don't know who pulled them into time or whatever. So
yeah. Who cares? It'll be resolved in half an episode.
probably. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
All
I
right.
think that's everything I got.
Yeah, I think that wraps up our episode for this week. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Until then.
This has been the Daniel and Andrew